Happy New Year, Dee.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to the first Thursday cooking class at Well Seasoned for 2021. Can you believe we're still here? This is like month 10. Oh no, what is it? Month 8 or month 8, at least 9 of our
I don't know what's going on.
online
Just,
classes.
just lock the doors and turn the camera on and whatever, man.
So I hope everybody had a good break during the Christmas season and a good New Year's Eve, in spite of the fact that we really couldn't celebrate properly this year. Hopefully everybody still had the opportunity to enjoy some good food.
I did the same thing I do every year. Just sat down in the living room with my dog and ate a lot of fresh pasta and drank a lot of wine.
Did you stay up till midnight?
No, God, 9:30 I was in bed. What are we staying up for?
I stayed up till midnight by accident. I never stay up that late.
That's too ambitious for me. I'm like,
I said to David early on, I'm like, can we have New Year's Eve at 9 so that we can
Halifax
go
New
to
Year's?
bed?
Yeah, Halifax
And
New
he's
Year's.
like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we can do that. And so we celebrated at 9. And then we celebrated again at 10. And then I opened another bottle of bubbly and we celebrated again at 11. But I was very optimistic for 4 hours.
Yeah, I think you have a drinking problem is what it is. It's just having a go at it.
It wasn't a problem at all, really.
Oh yeah. That was 2 people, right? If it's just you, it is a problem.
Right, if I was drinking by myself.
It was one hell of a year, but I'm sure now. I know time is relative, and it's just like a calendar thing. But everything starts with an ignition. It's a nice little motivator that that was we didn't know where we were going. We didn't know what was happening, and we everybody fought for their lives, especially business owners. Yeah, but this time I think we can see the end of the tunnel.
Hopefully. I'm still a little concerned about some of my restaurant friends and how they're going to, hang on for the next few months.
Another month of the same restrictions where you were saying...
2 people only or you're only allowed to be dining out with people from your immediate household. So that hurts a lot of restaurants. And I know today, after the restrictions were continued, I heard from a couple friends that we were kind of waiting to figure out if we could get together and go out to dinner, and so we decided we were going to do another Zoom dinner. So
man, I can't sit through Zoom. That stuff doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I miss my people. So
yeah.
I would normally have them over for dinner, or we'd meet at a restaurant, but this way I can drop off dinner for them at their house, and we can just at least get to see them and have a few laughs. And
you're a nice person. I'm not that nice. Nah.
Oh gosh. So hopefully if you guys signed up to cook along today or just follow along today to learn the recipes, when you signed up you should have received a copy of the recipes for tonight, so you could either purchase your groceries ahead of time and be ready to cook the chef, or you can just sort of plan your menu for the next few days. This dish that Chef's making tonight is his recipe for butter chicken.
Oh, no. I am going to execute a curry recipe that's been taught to me. That's not my personal recipe. But we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Because curry is personal. It's like pasta. It's like pizza. It's like a sandwich. Like the way you like it is the way to go. But we're going to be respectful of tradition. I didn't invent this.
And no two are ever the same. So this
No,
is
absolutely.
your version of settle down.
No. You know what? I used to talk about pasta like that. Pasta is a blank canvas. You can do whatever you want. Then I had really good pasta, and then all that opinions of mine has changed. Now I have a couple of incredibly talented chef friends like Valentino that are East Indian origin, and when they make this, in its own utmost simplicity, that is what actually what the dishes are. We just call it, a general name in a curry. So I'm just not going to. I'm very respectful of tradition. That's what I learned this year too. So, but it is my version of it. I even got a raise with this recipe.
A raise.
A raise, yeah.
Is that a hint, chef, or? So we had a chef that taught here in our cooking school probably about 10 years ago. She was Indian, and she made her version of butter chicken. And she used chicken breasts, but she stuffed the chicken breast first, and she stuffed it with this mixture, this spiced mixture of like ground almonds and raisins, and it was so delicious in the chicken breast. And then she poured over the butter sauce on the butter curry sauce on top of the chicken. So it was sort of a roasted chicken / butter chicken dish that was just phenomenal.
Yeah, what I love about these dishes is that, I mean, it's just like I'm from Turkey, right? So when you say fish stew, there are 3 different coastlines of Turkey, and everybody does something different, but it's all referred to as fish stew. So these stews are there's a tradition behind them and all that, but these are some of my favorite things to eat. Because, and I will explain you why. Because you have a large party and a large gathering, and there is a bunch of vegetarian friends showed up. So you can totally just keep the base vegetarian. It is strong enough that it doesn't require the depth of meat, broth, and all that.
Once you have a good solid curry sauce, you can adapt it to veggies, to seafood,
Yeah.
to
And the
meat.
beauty of it freezes exceptionally well. And whenever, like, this is like making a bolognese or a cookie. You can't only make 2 cookies. It doesn't work like
Right.
that. So you should make like a 7-8 liter batch. Get some of these deli cups in 500 mils. Put them in, pop it into your freezer on the way to work. Just pull one out on the way back. Stop by your butcher, grab a chicken breast, a few vegetables, and then you come back home to a dinner.
Yeah.
Really, like it's that simple, and they are that solid. This is one of my favorite things to cook. If I'm working in like a busy season, like Christmas season, I always just do all these ahead of time dishes, or when I'm cooking staff lunch. Right? Because here, I'll show you my stash actually. Check this out. All this top shelf. I have about 15 extra staff lunch bases in there.
So anytime Chef has odds and ends left from a meal that he makes that we sell here in the store, he freezes it in a little container and then he pulls it out in the morning, and then that's what he makes our team for lunch here at the store. So
because you have to cook for your friends.
We've all been eating
you know, just I don't have time is notion. You make time, and that is the way to make time. There is always time.
So the last couple of months since Dee's been here full time, all the staff have been really enjoying the staff meals, and he made a version, I guess, a version of this a few weeks ago for staff
Absolutely.
lunch, and it was
I have
phenomenal.
2 liters in the stash too, so it'll come back.
And I think people, when they think of curry, they think it has to be spicy, and it's not hot and spicy, but it's spicy. It's like flavorful and lots of spices, but it doesn't have to be hot, but it can be hot.
Yeah, East Indian cuisine is incredible at that. There are 3 cuisines that blew everybody's socks off. It's Thai, with their acidity and sweetness and then back and forth play. Their accents are not as strong as East Indians. Mexican cuisine, all the chile and all that, that rich aromas, moles and all that. And the other one is the East Indian cuisine. It's hands down one of the most flavorsome cuisines out there. Top 3 is what it is.
So while you're cooking tonight, can you talk a little bit about how to adjust the spice? So if somebody wants it hotter or like spicier, how you can accomplish that?
Absolutely. This is how I learned this dish. We had a prep cook at Shambar called Bob. It was the heart and soul of Shambar. This Sri Lankan guy, it's awesome, dude. Incredible cook. Anyway, and we had daily curry specials on the cafe's menu every day. One day, I just went up to him. I'm like, "Hey, man, you know how to do this shit?" He goes like, "Yeah, I kind of do." I said, "Could you show me once?" And this was the recipe that he showed me. And I will walk you through the steps of how to build flavor of a curry. Obviously, we don't have too much time today, right? So I'm just going to do a little bit of faster version, and this is a little bit fresher version, which doesn't require a lot of simmering and whatnot. And I cooked this curry the next day at Shambar's staff meal, and I got my first raise.
Oh.
Yeah, the chef from the other spot just ran over and who cooked this? I'm like, let's cash this. But yeah, so with the curry base, again, just like Angie said, you can use a steak, you can use prawns, you can use seafood, you can use chicken, tofu, paneer, mushroom, chickpeas, anything that goes in there. This is the base recipe is incredible. And then just to go with it, you got to have a couple of little things to go with it. Steamed rice, we're going to talk about how to steam rice. And I will even show you how to make a naan bread.
And raita, right? So raita is
No, I skipped the raita because this is a very creamy curry. It doesn't
Okay.
have that. It's not an accompaniment. These are like little chutneys and salsas and this and that are usually on the table. I'm just going to show you the hard part of it, and then we can talk about chutneys and what would go well with this and this and
cool.
that.
So raita, for those of you who don't know, is like a yogurt cucumber dip.
It's a flavored
kind
yogurt.
of like tzatziki, I guess. For
They're all the
like,
same.
yeah, it's
Sour
basically the
cream,
same.
creme fraiche, tzatziki, like they all serve the same purpose of just washing that heavy residue on your palate, and then.
And it also helps tone down the spice. If there's people in your house that don't like it as spicy, they can eat it with the raita, and that calms down the spice a little bit, so that you can make it a little bit spicier.
But I'd rather get rid of that part of the household. I mean,
Get rid of the people.
yeah,
the
yeah,
spices.
yeah. That's what I did. I kept the salad anyway.
So this recipe tonight is really great if you make it in a bigger version. And Chef's going to show you tonight. Like you said, it freezes really well. If you have questions while he's cooking about subbing out food, like spices, whatever questions you have while he's cooking, feel free just to type them into the question bar. I'll relay them to Chef while he's cooking, and we'll have a conversation about what it is that you'd like to know. And, you know, Indian food goes really great with some BC wines. Some really beautiful white aromatic wines go really well.
There are incredible winemakers in Okanagan that are actually of that origin too.
Yeah, there are a lot of really great Indian winemakers, and Lakeside Cellars. I believe the winemaker or the family that owns Lakeside is Indian, and they make phenomenal wine. Quaale Wines is one of the most award-winning wineries in the province, and they're owned by an Indian family, and they're like they get it, the combination of wine and food, and it's fun to explore some really delicious BC whites. So we're drinking tonight a white from Lakeside Cellars in the Okanagan, and this is a Pinot Gris, and it's got enough acidity to kind of cut through some.
Just wash all the spice.
Yeah.
I would like you to pass the mic back and forth while you speak, please.
Sure.
Sorry. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm almost done. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the wine.
Yeah, she's stuck again.
So if you're looking for a wine to accompany your curry or your butter chicken, a really delicious aromatic white, even some of the I've lost my words now.
I'm filming.
Okay, never mind. I'll stop talking about the wine. But this is
No,
Lakeside
don't.
Cellars. This is their Pinot Gris, and I think it's going to be really delicious with the curry. So
It is nice, light, and it's going to wash away all that rich spice of your palate. It's a great. I also encourage you if you go with bubbly. Bubbly is great too.
Bubbly's terrific.
Yeah.
And there's some reds that go well with curry. You just have to find your happy place. For me, I
would
prefer
do
the white.
Pinot Noir, maybe a nice light Pinot Noir would actually do this trick as well.
So, experiment. It's your wine. It's your food. It's only a good pairing if it's good for you. So,
don't worry about it.
You don't have to listen to what people tell you is a good pairing. That's up to you to decide. So, anyhow, let's get cooking. If you have questions, type it in the comment bar, and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
All right, party on.
All right, now let's do this right. How do I look? I'm kidding. All right, so there are 3 parts to this, actually 4 parts to this dish, and I'm in the weeds, as we say in the kitchen. Now, I would pick a nice open pot that would encourage evaporation, because I'm short a bit of time right now. And then we're just going to use rapid heat just to keep the freshness of this whole thing. The longest thing that's going to take place to cook is our curry base. So let's just start with that. I'm going to start with a nice chunk of butter into the pan, not onto your, you can hear it crackling, lightly sizzling, or whatever those words are. Now, I have my mustard seeds, coriander seeds, minced ginger, minced jalapenos, and a little bit of garlic in here. These are the whole spices and the aromatics that is going to flavor your butter base. I'm going to turn it into lightly brown. So I have a nice rhythm on it. So I put that little bit, that extra nutty accent there too, which was going to be incredible with the mustard seeds. And goes in my aromatics. And sorry, I grabbed the cilantro stems and I just chopped the cilantro stems to cook in the base of the curry. Now, what we're looking at here is just to pop these spices in our browning butter. It's always a good time to take a sip and put it away. Okay. Now I can already smell these spices and they are quite fantastic. Make sure you have enough oil. What you do not want to do is just have a direct dry contact with the bottom of your pot, because that will scorch your spices and your aromatics. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for that nice popping sounds of the mustard seeds, so they started to open up and the aroma starts to open up also. Wow, that smells really good.
That smells good.
See, I might look like a trucker now because it's the COVID look, but I can still whip up a little curry. Looking for an RV too, just to surprise people.
There we go. It's gonna be riding the open road.
I'm gonna be the new Willie Nelson.
Oh God.
Party buzz. Now, here I have a gram masala powder. Okay, no, let's not do any weed jokes. I have a little bit of gram masala powder, which you can get from your Indian grocery stores. Buy this in small containers. Do not buy the packaged product. Find the bulk aisle and buy it off there. And in Indian store, this has a lot of traffic, so that means your spices will be fresh. Turmeric powder, chili powder. Why didn't I put my powders in the first place? Onions are going to create a little moisture and steam in there so that my powdered spices don't get scorched, but it's also not added into the liquid, so it doesn't taste granular. They cook like flour does in a bechamel. So, often goes, whenever you introduce onions, nice pinch of salt. Okay. Also never cook with one hand, so get rid of this. Okay. Yeah. Now your dry powders might soak up your oil in the first place, so there might be a little bit of dry pot, so add a little bit of fat if need be. Okay. Now onion is probably the most important part of this dish. You have to cook your onions right until they are nicely wilted. And if you don't, if you don't do that, if you don't add salt and cook them properly, then you will have this really crunchy and bitey onions throughout your curry, which is a sign of weakness. And curry can smell your weakness. Okay, people might call it. I cooked this a similar recipe. Excuse me, at a wedding once, and it was an Indian wedding too. The mother of the bride came downstairs and she really thanked you for the roast, but they ordered curried chickpeas on the side as a side too. I said, how about the chickpeas? She was like, nah, that's garbage. I said, all right. So they know their stuff, especially if you're cooking for an Indian family. Make sure you do a damn well job on your onions. Now, as you can see, it's very aromatic, but it's still not wilted enough. So we're gonna let this ride for a minute and maybe stop touching it so it cooks. Number 2, rice. How many of you are struggling with cooking with rice? Well, I guess nobody's gonna say anything. All right. Thanks, David, for the enthusiasm. I wasn't comfortable with cooking rice most of my career. I'm gonna get this pot started. Basmati rice, 2 slices of ginger and a couple sprigs of cilantro. and I'm going to get them in, and I'm going to warm my pot before I add anything into it, just to toast the rice and wake up the aroma. Let's check out on our onions. No stickage, and they are wonderfully melting, as you can see. The minute they start dripping is a minute that means that most of the moisture is actually leaving. So most of my professional career, I wasn't very good at cooking rice. And the problem was I was trying too many tips and tricks. The secret to cook the rice successfully every single time is to read the package instructions. They're there for a reason. They've been done by the growers, and they put solid instructions. As soon as with my rice cooking, I started following instructions, package instructions. They actually work like magic. Because this rice has been collected in India, harvested, if I may say, and then made its way all the way to North America, to Vancouver City. Meaning that company made it, and they can actually export this. Meaning they will put proper instructions how to cook it, try, test it. So just rely on those.
Chef,
Hi.
Maria would like to know what kind of oil you're using.
This?
What kind of oil you're cooking with?
Just extra, this is being cooked with butter and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, just to get my onions going properly. No, still not there yet. It's mostly butter tonight. It's mostly butter, and then I always have extra virgin olive oil because I'm a Mediterranean, and that's how I roll. It is the law. And I will judge him. I'm kidding. All right. So, and then my rice is nice and toasty. Okay, we don't want to scorch it either. Now I'm just going to add a pinch of salt. Now this is optional, but I like slightly salt in my rice. That's my personal thing on it. I'm going to pour my water, and I'm going to crank my heat up to high until it comes to a boil. Okay, so what I'm looking at is when you put your finger and touch the top of the rice when it's flattened, you should be able to reach to your first knuckle, unless you have abnormally large hands. Is a great place to be.
I think Japanese people call that Mount Fuji. Reaching Mount Fuji.
They should settle down a little bit. Okay, now my onions are looking very different from where they started. They were really, spongy and all that. But as you can see, they almost cooked into this nice lump. They're nicely fried, meaning, don't you do that to me now. Meaning, also the spice paste outside is being cooked. Now keep an eye on its color though. You don't want to go dark or start sticking to the bottom. Now our pan is nice and clean, and I have this lump. I mean, just by the smell and the look of it, that is going to yield to a good, flavorsome base. Anyway, so my rice is almost up to a boil. Oh, she's on fire today.
Your rice is? Does that mean you're getting along with the stove?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Once it comes to a boil, grab your perfectly fitting lid, which I didn't have a lid for it, but I had the enthusiasm to be able to find a plate that actually fits.
Chef, we have a million lids here, and
I'm Turkish. That's I work with a lot of scraps. And just grab your cell phone and say that, set a timer for 10 minutes after you turn it down. That's my favorite feature of Siri.
you're so polite to Siri.
Oh no, we get spicy in the mornings. I ask weird questions like, how tall is Jesus, or whatever. Or we have conversations on the way to, well, let's say, half an hour drive. So I got to do something.
Yeah,
Okay, so as you can see, my rice is on its way. Now I have slight drippage, which is a beautiful thing. Look at that spice paste. To this, I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice. This is not in the recipe, but I just to give that zesty flavoring to my onions, because once you put the liquid in, these onions will disperse themselves in amongst throughout the sauce. So they're very flavorsome, but let's just put a little bit of oomph on it. My tomato puree goes in. Okay. My cherry tomatoes goes in. And I would like to rinse my bowl because I don't want to waste that. And I'm going to add a little bit of water, which is going to help me gain a little bit of time so that the onions and tomatoes can marry really, really well.
So that's tomatoes, pureed tomatoes. It's not tomato paste.
Did I say tomato paste?
No, you said.
Oh, yeah, it is strained tomatoes, canned tomatoes. If you have really nice tomatoes in the summer, you can use old tomatoes. But canned tomatoes also, and if you're making on your own, Italian passata is highly acceptable. It gives that depth to your sauce, as well as it hold on to all that fat that makes it nice and rich and emulsified rather than split it off, which is a great quality of a curry. Now, look at that. And
So what are you looking for, Chef? Just the onions are like soft and everything's kind of starting to come together.
exactly.
How dry is the pan? Can you show? Like,
The pan is not right. This is the consistency of the pan. There is no excess liquid or anything like going back and forth, and it's just like stewing in this big, thick base, really,
you wanna
really
make sure it's not
nicely.
sticking to the bottom, basically.
Exactly. That's what you do not want.
Our camera has a mind of its own tonight. It's jumping around. Sorry about that.
It's free range. That's why.
It's free.
Now, while all this is happening, what did I get myself into? Why did it get so complicated again?
Wow, now it looks like a drone's in here.
And this is my thing, as I'm doing my DJ thing.
Wow, you look very thin from that angle, Chef.
Oh my. No,
Tall and thin.
yeah, that literally never happened. That's what Buddy Guy says. I'm short and fat, and I'm good like that. And that is all to it. Okay, now my base is coming up to a boil, and what I'm also looking is break down the fresh tomatoes a little bit as well. Now comes one of the things I frequently do is I do a lot of caterings, and there usually is a wide variety of dietary restrictions. So this is a great way of serving food. It's that you cook everything and you serve it family style, all on the table in the large platters, that whoever has that dietary problem with that part of the meal skips it.
Right.
So if you're a vegetarian, you just use the base and don't touch the chicken. If you're a vegan, you can easily just substitute the cream for coconut milk.
And leave the butter out, use oil.
And leave the butter out and just use just regular oil, and then you'll be just fine. Now you're accommodating. Now your meat eater friend is not upset because he's not getting any meat, and your vegan friend is not upset because there's meat on the table, which they're usually upset. But let's not just talk about that.
So Chef, you added all the spices into the sauce. If you wanted to make this spicier, hotter, what would you do to do that?
Add more spicy part of
Like
that.
cayenne or?
I would use an Indian chili powder. There is numerous of them. Go to your store and see what's available. Just have a little bit of enthusiasm and ask them. They're more than happy to help. Just newbies and curious people and whatnot. And sometimes they're not. Well, ask again. I don't know.
I don't know. At my house, when I want it spicier, because it takes so little, it doesn't affect the flavor. I use cayenne in my house.
Cayenne, like this, so this is the thing. Most cultures have different names for these things. Like when you say paprika, everybody goes, "Oh, that's Hungarian." I'm like, no, it's not. It's just not. It's just these are all different types of chilies, just being ground up, and they have different names. Like whatever is your favorite. But if you're cooking Mexican cuisine, yeah, use the Mexican chilies. If you're doing Indian cuisine, well, use the Indian chilies. Now, as you can see, this lovely, lovely lump, and it's still nice and tight, and I can still hear my crackling in my pot, which is nice, meaning that it didn't water out. We have a nice rhythm that goes for it. I'm going to add my cream.
Is that whipping cream?
That is heavy, heavy cream. You do not want to take an acidic environment like this and then add low-fat cream. Then it will split like something like yogurt would split. I'm going to grab some water again. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water to gain some time so that all of my flavors can come together. But I'll show you this. This looks delicious already. It hasn't matured enough, but I mean the color is there, the texture is there. It just needs to cook a little bit longer. So that's that. My pan is hot. I have some salted chicken breasts. I cut them into two. I took the ends off. That's for Louis. Those are for Louis, which is my puppy. And I have a uniformly sized chicken breast pieces. You can use chicken thighs. You can use chicken wings, bony joints, perfectly fine. But I love chicken breast. It's such a nice lump of meat, and it's nice and lean, which means you're gonna feel like $1 million after eating it. So, a little bit of olive oil in the pan. My base is simmering away. Let's turn the base down a little bit. Let's grab a little of this so we don't contaminate around. And to this pan, I'm gonna add a little bit of butter as well to my olive oil. Okay, which we should not do that. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my chicken pieces. You don't need too high heat with chicken breast. Chicken breast is an incredibly lean meat. Any lean meat such as wild fish, wild game, chicken breast and whatnot, the high heat points are not very, very ideal. Oh my apron is coming off. Okay, and then we will need some vegetables with some nice greens. And I have my chicken pan going on. I might as well just put it to the side of the chicken pan and let it go. Okay, now that's I'm gonna use this for a second.
Do you always put the protein on the side, Chef?
No, not necessarily. But if I see, when I make this, I make 10 liters of it. So I have 8 liters stashed in my fridge. So if I have a vegetarian friend coming over, I don't have any vegan. Whatever. If a vegetarian friend is coming over, and I feel like just cooking curry, I just grab it out of the freezer, so that eliminates extra work or like, hey, that has chicken in it, now we can't have curry, now I got to do it again. So all this beautifully like that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pop this in the oven. It's not going to take too long. It's going to take a few minutes to cook. Especially, hi.
I would like to know if the chicken was marinated overnight or just.
This was marinated around 4 p.m. And you can go up to as far as overnight. Absolutely, at 24 hours. Well, that means our rice is good to go. Oh man.
That was an extreme close-up on Chef D there. You gotta.
What is going on?
I don't know. Our camera's got a mind of its own tonight.
All right. So, anyway, so the rice is done. Turn your rice off after 10 minutes, and then let it just rest for another 6 to 7. One of my favorite things to do is just grab some peas just to finish off the rice. It's hot and steamy in there. Okay, just pour the peas just frozen peas, just your regular household frozen peas, which I love to death because it's nice color, it's nice texture, and
They're so easy just to have in the freezer and add to so many things.
yeah, it's incredible. And you just add some fresh vegetables to your, you know, to your complex dishes. It lightens them up. It just gives them a.
Give peas a chance.
That's a good one. That's as good as like a gherkin.
You're welcome. Like a gherkin. That's your Madonna riff.
That's my Madonna pickling song. I love Madonna, just so you know. 80s Madonna. I don't know what. Yeah, like a gherkin is a professional pickler. I told that to somebody at a dog park. They're like, yeah, I don't need to talk to you anymore. So.
You're kind of creepy, pickle man.
Yeah, right. You're just like, who talks like that? Hey, you want a pickle? No, I don't want a pickle. Just get up. All right. So you have the recipe. This is my. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's the right season too. I should go to Value Village and get one of those. A trench coat. Hey, I got kimchi. You want it?
I'm not coming with bail.
Oh, you should leave me alone. Well, I haven't had that on my resume yet, but I'm willing. I'm willing.
You needed bail?
No, to go to jail.
Oh, okay.
At some point, I gotta check it off.
Let's do it this weekend.
Okay, let me do the bread first. How fast did we go? I still have 20 minutes. So, the bread recipe is in your kits. It's an awesome recipe. It's not, I don't have a story for it. It's just like a great all-over naan recipe. Naan bread, I do prefer to use a little bit of yogurt for creaminess in it and a lightness in the bread. And it's as well as there's olive oil in there. Well, you have the recipe. It's an awesome recipe. If you have a tandoori oven, it will sing like a crazy awesome naan. But I'll show you the trick of how I do it too. Now, that being said, it is a soft dough, so you will need a drink before you handle it.
So Shelly says her husband doesn't like peas, so she uses garbanzo beans in the
Absolutely.
rice. So you can use even some fresh herbs will freshen it up in there.
Handful of spinach. Go to your Asian store and buy some baby bok choy and toss it in there. Go to your, let's check it out, chicken. Go to your, few more minutes. Let's go on. 400. We're at 400. I usually like to cruise around 375 to 400. Those are great temperatures. ROLE. Okay. All right. So now we're not going to stretch this out with flour, but just have the tiniest pinch of flour on your. All right, man. Okay.
Wow, you're like that's a wardrobe malfunction.
Well, it's just a suggestive cooking. And I can do this too now because I have the hair. All right. Okay, you know what? Now I got flour on me. Oh man, Sarah Joel. He would have given shit for that.
For what? Touching your hair and then cooking?
No, flour. Oh, that's a bad thing to do too. Let's go and rinse our hands. Anyway, so a little olive oil on the bench. Okay. Now, when you handle dough, you do not grab dough, you touch dough. So I'm not going to. Could you give me a second? Let me solve this problem. Fired. Fired. Okay. So a little bit of olive oil in the bottom on top. You know what? Let's skip the flour. And let's get this out of this ugly sight, which I can say ugly. It's actually a beautiful thing to look at. And then I am going to flatten this dough. Okay. This dough is quite soft, so you don't have to do too much. Now you can use a rolling pin, but rolling pin would just crush all the air, and you'll have a little bit of less fluffier naan. So you just grab your dough and gently encourage it. Gently encourage it and try to be as consistent in thickness all around. Like, it's not the end of the world, but try. Also mind your pen size, right? Because your pen has to be able to be accommodate this. I literally just pat it down with my hands. Let's grab the pen, touch your olive oil in there, so I have nice contact and I'm not stuck. Grab your dough and gently put it in your pan. You can just shape a little bit at the last second and let the heat do the work. Now, in this little pot, what I have is a little bit of garlic and butter that's been melted. So that is coming up to heat. Okay. Whew. That was a whirlwind. Okay. Now, I'm going to taste our base and see if it needs any seasoning. As you can see, the viscosity of it, it is, oh, wow. It is very good. It needs a pinch of salt, a little bit of lemon juice. Sorry, lime juice, that is. These are your finishing touches. Do not skip these steps because this is where you really, really take your little curry to the next level. These are like the accents on the finishing. Otherwise, Bob will be really, really angry with you. Now, we started cooking with garam masala. And now we have the sauteed, cooked with onions, deeply embedded in the sauce. And we're going to finish with a tablespoon of it at the end for fortification and amplification of the flavor. And that's the magic of the curry, is that you have all these intricate moves that yields to very, very deep flavors. Now, this is my personal favorite trick. Always finish your sauces, and not all of your sauces, with a little crushed fresh garlic, which will give an incredible accent to your sauce at the very, very end. If you don't believe me, ask the Koreans. Korean cuisine uses that technique a lot, just to finish with raw garlic. So, give it a shake. My viscosity is very, very good. I mean, if you look at this, it just looks like $1 million. This is my favorite spoon now. Angie, I will steal the spoon. I'm not going to lie to you. I have a thing for spoons.
It's not stealing if I already told you to take it, Chef.
Can I just
It's better to
yeah.
yeah.
Then it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. We're gonna flip it upside down. Now this side is slightly dry. Don't worry, I got a plan for it.
So lots of people are interested in changing out the peas for Shelly. So Doug is suggesting that edamame beans also work well in the rice.
Yeah. I don't know where they're from. That's my thing about edamame. Are they local?
Well, they're North American.
If it is, do you remember those times that when everybody just lost their marbles and at the pubs everybody was eating soybeans and beer? This is the greatest snack ever. I'm like, have you tried beef jerky, man? Like, are you guys? I mean, anyway. So my bread is going nice. I'm gonna flip it upside down again. It is cooked. My chicken is cooked. Everything is coming out together at the same time with all components, meaning that it's just like playing a song very, very appropriately and beautifully. I'm going to turn this off. Few of my garlic in there is nice and happy. Let's get the chicken out because it's cooked. Oh, man. Like, I literally have done this, other than the naan bread, in about what? 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Now here's my rice, which you want to fluff. You can take out the ginger and the coriander stems if you're really concerned about the aesthetics of it. But I really don't care, because this is good old cooking. So that's that. That is that. My chicken is perfectly cooked, nice and succulent. Now let's finish our sauce with a handful of butter. Perfect. Look at this bread. Oh my God. And that's a 25-minute meal for you right there. Shall we plate this?
Do it, Chef. Do it.
Whew. Now everybody puts the rice in the bottom. I like to put the rice on top, but that's me.
Shelly's very impressed with your no lid technique. Your Turkish lid on the rice, Chef.
Making it work. It's called being a Lego child.
Being what?
A Lego child.
Oh.
I'm exceptional at stacking and the grouping and all that. It's an odd thing I picked up. All right, first things first. Let's get rid of this clumsy spoon and beautiful.
I think the fresh tomatoes in there that you use add just another level of acidity that you don't get from the puree.
You have to have every braises, it being French and whatnot. If I have something tomatoey in there, I always also put fresh tomatoes as well. Now, walk the sauce. Okay, I'm gonna put the rice on top so I can see it. I can see all the components of my dish. Don't have to be fancy with this.
This feels upside down.
Yeah, welcome to my life. You know what they say? If you want to collect rainwater, just flip your umbrella upside down. That's a great method that actually works for a lot of things. There you are. I don't know how much rice you'd like. Hey man, leave me alone.
It actually looks like right now, with the rice on top of the sauce.
70s dinner party?
No, it looks like etouffee. Have you ever had etouffee?
Yeah, of course. I cooked it, had it. And what is it like? To drown something or like to choke something? Etouffee means? Yeah, the actual word itself.
Really?
That's what I've been told. The guy was white though. I can't back it up. So and here comes my chicken.
I would zoom in, but the camera is not working very well.
I'll bring it to you.
Then no, you can't do that either. I'll get in there. And I'll
Okay.
back and go.
So that's one piece of chicken. There. Now, again, this is a very flavorsome cuisine. Would you overpower flavors? This is not about overpowering. This is going full force on flavor. So I'm going to put a bunch of mint leaves around. Okay, maybe some cilantro sprigs. And they are whole too. They're not chopped. They're not broken down. So that they gave you that surprise of, hey, that's actually quite good. So that's that. Let's take our bread. Should we cover the whole thing with the bread?
Do it.
Oh, it's a surprise. Here, let's cut it in half. Cut it in half. It smells incredible.
So what accompaniments would you serve with this, Chef? Like,
What else do they want?
Like raita, chutney. Is there anything else that you would have with this?
Like this, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
This is not good enough, Chef. I need more.
Who was that? Mick Jagger said American girls want everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Right now.
So demanding. And you know what? Let's just put this to the side. Why are we covering this beautiful dish up? There you go.
Let's use our rice lid.
Yeah. And there is your tomato butter curry with a little bit of roasted and marinated chicken breast, steamed basmati rice, not steamed, sorry, it's basmati rice with peas and ginger, fresh naan bread, all done in half an hour. And let's see if I will still have the job after she tastes it.
I'm going to give you a glass of wine instead of a raise.
She's so cheap.
I have to manage your expectations, Chef. Let me get my cutlery here. Okay, this looks beautiful. It does look a bit like etouffee with the rice on top.
Yeah, or gumbo. Gumbo does the same thing. They're smart. Do you want a knife? Just use my knife.
It's very tender.
No, it's not. It's not. Oh, actually, you can.
We should go to New Orleans together sometime when we can travel again. That would be lots of fun.
Yeah, I could do Thursday. Next
I'm free
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah. Shut the whole thing down.
Actually, let's go right now.
I've actually done such things.
Oh my God. You know what?
20 minutes of work, and you can produce, like, if you're doing this 10 liters, it will take you about 40 minutes.
It's more than 20 minutes. You had everything chopped ahead of time. It's going to take
Yeah,
you
that's called being a
probably-
professional.
Okay, but at home it's going to take you about an hour to pull all this together to make a good quantity of sauce. I mean, the chicken's separate, but it's going to take you a bit of time to make the sauce and prepare all the onions and the spices and
Well, in the
everything.
kitchens, what we do is, like, when I train cooks, is that you're assigned to a task. Your first time, you have the grace, the passing grace, or whatever they call it. But the second time, you should set yourself a little standard of time, and then you should exceed that. Because if you can do it slow, you can do it fast.
So tomorrow I want you to put this dish out in 15 minutes.
I can do it at 5 because I got the sauce.
Suddenly it's like, let's make a deal over here. So you were talking about where to buy your spices, and while I agree with you, there's some really great Indian markets, specifically here in the Fraser Valley. Okay. There's some really great Indian markets like Fruticana, where you can buy some really great Indian style product. But for me, we carry this line at Well Seasoned. This is called Monsoon Coast. This is a line of spice mixes from Salt Spring Island. The spices, the quality of spices that they use in their spice blends is phenomenal. You can't beat this. You can spend less for sure, but the quality and flavor of these spices are phenomenal. So this is called Monsoon Coast. You can buy it online, on our website, on their website. It's a really high quality product. This is their garam masala, and it really does make a difference.
It is a good, that's what I use, actually.
I hear from people, oh, you can just buy this at the dollar store. Please don't buy your spices from the dollar store.
Or no Safeway.
Please don't buy your food of any kind from the dollar store.
Not even the deodorant?
Not even deodorant from the dollar store.
I'm kidding.
You can buy a birthday card at the dollar store.
I buy little party things. Like when
Really?
you go to a...
You have a party things? This is interesting.
Like party things being like, fake cup gear, like plastics, with the stuff that we were used to play, like fun stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
my parties suck. Maybe that's why I don't have any. What are you talking about?
We're going to come back to that next week and have a little telethon for Chef D and get him some friends that want to go to his house for a dollar store party. See how that goes for him. Are you making a plate for David? That's amazing. Move his wine out of David's plate. So, we had a lot of people watching tonight. I think everybody's super keen to make some new food for the new year. I think, like me, most of you are probably tired of eating the same food that you make week in, week out, and so this is a good opportunity to mix things up a little
What
bit.
is your resolution?
I don't make resolutions, Chef.
Good. You shouldn't give promises that you won't follow.
I know. David and I at our house are trying to get back on a little bit of a keto situation, but clearly this is not a keto situation. And staff meal.
Yeah, you can skip the rice.
Skip the rice. And our staff meal today, Chef made some couscous because our gourmet to go dinner this week is a chicken tagine that's phenomenal. So
Actually pretty good.
I did have a
had
little
some.
bit of rice with, or couscous with our dinner today. So anyhow, this is really good.
This is better.
The wine?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
This is very
I can do
good.
that any day. This is good.
Mm.
How's the bread?
I haven't had the bread yet.
Oh yeah, you're the keto.
I'm having a little bit of rice instead of the bread. I'll, oh my God, I can't. How do you have fresh bread here and not try it?
Yeah, you should try fresh.
Yeah, it's terrible. Just what I expected. Awful.
Horrible, but I'm no Jack Nicholson.
So we had a lot of people watching tonight, and I'm really grateful for that. We also had people that participated and signed up in advance.
Christopher is there too.
All of these classes are sort of a pay what you can class. We're offering these classes free on Facebook. If you can pay $10, $20, that's how we are covering our costs for these classes. And while we're super adorable and super appreciative of you joining us, we'd also be super appreciative if you paid a little bit of money to participate in these classes. So you can do that on our website. And
my personal account will be in the.
send your like a telethon. Let's have a telethon.
Yeah. I'll put the money into good use. All charity. My life is all charity.
So I'm super grateful to you as a small business owner that you participate in this. Share this information about our classes with your friends. We'd love to have you guys join us next week. What are we cooking next week, Chef? We don't really have a plan next week.
Leave it in the comments.
Yeah. We're also going to start doing some Zoom classes. So people have asked for some more sort of technique-driven classes. You would like to learn to make pie crust,
hand-pulled noodles,
pasta.
croissants.
Yeah, you want to learn to do some more really specific things. So we're going to start offering a series of classes through Zoom that we'll charge for, that you can participate in, that are very sort of small group, very technique-driven. So that information will be available through our newsletter and on our Facebook page. So if you're not currently receiving our newsletter, what is wrong with you? You should be. You can sign up for the newsletter at the bottom of our website, which is wellseasoned.ca. And once a week, we send out information about the classes that are coming up, about our weekly meals.
You'll be up to date.
Yeah, and you'll know exactly what's going on, including the classes that we're offering hopefully soon through Zoom. I know Chef Helena is quite excited to do a pie class.
Oh, amazing.
So a lot of you have asked for a class on technique for a perfect pie crust. I'm with you. I can't make pie crust. When I was growing, I can't do it. When I was growing up, my grandma made the best pie crust, and she tried so hard to teach me how to make a great pie crust before she died, and I just have never learned. And so now I have a pastry chef. I just hired a pastry chef, and that problem's been solved. So anyhow, I'm anxious to learn how to make a great pie as well. So we'll be rolling out these classes in the next week or two. Our weekly meal for this week, like I said, is our chicken tagine, and it sold out yesterday or early this morning.
You should have booked the thing earlier.
You should have booked earlier. It was delicious. Next week, our weekly meal is our lasagna. So Chef Sarah and Chef Deniz are going to create this really delicious homemade lasagna with Italian sausage. And our dessert is going to be pistachio cannolis. So I'm kind of excited for the cannolis.
Drop the gun, grab the cannoli.
So I'm excited for all of this. I love cannolis too.
I don't eat cookies, muffins. I don't go out of my way. If I'm offered, I will eat them. But cannoli, every third month I go to Cannoli King and eat a pistachio cannoli.
Really?
I do. I don't.
I'm the same as you with bread. I won't necessarily. I like bread, but man, a good sourdough, your bread is really hard to pass up. And
I had third of a loaf last night. I was so.
Before Christmas, Chef was bringing in his homemade loaf of bread for our staff meal, and oh my gosh, it was so hard to pass up. So that's why I'm back on the keto train this month. So
I'm on the fat train still, so.
And somebody told me, maybe it was you, that staff meal tomorrow is fresh pasta. So, oh my gosh, I'm gonna
man,
have
you're
to.
like a bad relative. Now we'll take, sure, we'll make some noodles tomorrow.
I thought that's what you said. Didn't you tell me that? Maybe Nikki told me that because that's what she wants for lunch.
I'll tell her to start cooking now.
Nikki's turn to cook lunch tomorrow.
No.
So
Yeah, sure. I'll make some noodles. I love making fresh pasta.
Yeah.
I would actually go out of my way and just yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, let's have a
All right.
pasta.
Let's do it tomorrow. So, thank you for joining us tonight. We're really happy to have you here. I know a lot of you logged in from all over the country. A lot of our friends from the U.S. joined us tonight. So thank you for that. We're excited to have you here. David, thanks for the pro camera angles. I'm not sure what happened tonight, but we do have another microphone on order. We do. That's why these classes are basically free. So
We will invest in another microphone before next week, and we'll figure out the camera problem.
so we're getting this
All
figured
new
out.
equipment, so bear
So
with us.
anyhow, yeah. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks to our friends at Lakeside Cellars. You need your glasses empty.
Nope.
Thanks to our friends at Lakeside Cellars for the delicious wine. We're happy to have you in our kitchen tonight. Happy to have you in our kitchen tonight. We'll see you right here next Thursday at 5:30. We will announce the menu in the next day or two. So check us out on Facebook, and we'll let you know what's cooking right here next Thursday. Have a great evening, everybody.